So at this point, we are done with our queries and we're moving on to creating a form. And we used forms back in chapter 1 to add and delete records. And if you remember, a form will display one record at a time, whereas a table's data sheet displays multiple records at a time. And what we're going to do is select the absences table, just going to click on it, and then we're going to go into the Create ribbon, and we are going to generate a form from that table by clicking on Form. When you first come in to a new form like this, you're in something called Layout View. Layout View is one of the views that allow you to do editing. You do not want to enter any data in Layout View. And if you click your View button, you'll notice that we have 3 different views. Layout View and Design View are for editing the form. Design View is rather complicated and we don't use it in this class. Okay? It looks like this with a series of grids. Okay, so quite a bit complicated. Layout View is the view that we're going to use in this class to edit forms. And we go into the Design ribbon and click on View. Form View is the actual view you will use to add and delete records, like we did back in chapter 1. So this is Form View, and we've got our little buttons down here. And this is Layout View, and they look similar. There's one big difference. Okay? If you click on any of the entry areas in Layout View, they have an orange border around them. That is because you can edit in this view. This view is not for entering data. If you go into Form View, there are no orange borders. That is how you can tell if you're in Form View or Layout View, just by looking. And what we are going to do is go into Layout View, and we're going to adjust our form just a little bit. So we're going to apply a theme. So when you are in Layout View, you'll notice that we've got some additional ribbons for modifying the form. And in the Design ribbon, we have themes. And they would like us to pick the Retrospect theme. And then they want us to adjust the colors. They would like us to pick green. And they would also like us to adjust the fonts. And they want their favorite Candera. Then they want us to adjust the title. Now, to change the title, what we're going to do, and this is still in the Design ribbon, we're going to click on the title button because that will highlight it. And then I'm just going to click at the beginning, right before absences, and key in employee. So it says employee absences, and then I'm going to press enter. And then I'm going to go into the Format ribbon. And we're going to be adjusting the font size. And they would like us to choose 24. Now you'll notice the title is still selected, and that is what we want to change the size on. So if you've kind of clicked away on something else, click up on that title. And we're going to choose 24 for the size, and that'll make it a little bit bigger. And then they want us to select all of the controls. So I'm going to press Control, keep my finger on Control, and press on the letter A, because that selects everything. And they would like us to change the font color to dark blue. So this is almost the last color in the last row, second to the last. We're going to go ahead and click on it. Okay, and you should notice now all of the text is dark blue. And why don't we go ahead and save this? Absences is fine for the name. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and close. And I should point out, if you double click on this, it opens in form view. It assumes that you want to add or change records. Okay, if you needed to change the form, you would probably right click and go into layout. Okay, because double clicking doesn't put you in the view that allows you to make editing changes. So what we just did was select absences, go into create, and just generated the form. There is another way that you can do form creation, and it allows for a little bit more customization. It involves using the form wizard, and that is what we're going to do next. So we are going to be in create, and we're going to choose form wizard this time. And this is kind of similar to the simple query wizard because you can select the table that you want, and we're going to pick the employee table. You'll notice that you can generate a form for queries as well, but we want the employee table for this one. And they do want us to move all of the fields over. Typically, a form is going to include all of the fields. So we're going to move all of those fields under selected. Then we'll go to next. And you can see that there are several different formats for forms. The one that you see most often is columnar, where you've got the field name next to the entry area. That is what we want. And we'll click on next. And for the name, it is displaying as employees, and that is okay. So we're going to go ahead and click on finish. The primary difference between creating a form using the wizard and just having the form generate is that when you use the wizard, it looks at the size of your fields and it adjusts the entry boxes appropriately. We take a look at absences, it didn't do that. These entry boxes are way too big. Okay? And that was the one that we automatically generated. Employees is the one we used the wizard on, and the wizard is smart enough to adjust those entry areas. And for that reason, I actually prefer using the wizard because I think this looks a lot better. Okay, and so at this point, we're going to go ahead and save our changes, and then we can close out of the form.